Welcome and good evening. My name is Jocelyn Bonadio de Freitas. I am a host at WQXR and a new host here at the Green Space. I'm so happy that you made it out tonight. In case that wasn't proof enough, I'm here to remind you that you're in the right place. The music is good. This is going to be an extremely special evening. Whether you've been here before or not, this is the third night of Arturo's residency, Music and Resistance, Radical Acts, and Musical Deviancy. And the music is extra alive. We have actually doubled our living legend quotient.
Crazy.
By inviting another living legend in addition to yourself onto the stage, Miss Akua Dixon. So for those of you who, for some reason, do not know, we don't have time tonight to talk about your career and your credits. It's really phenomenal. It does not matter what generation you're from or what decade of music was your favorite. This woman has collaborated with a musician who you know and love, everyone from Ron Carter to Lauryn Hill to James Brown. It's really absolutely phenomenal, and we're so thrilled to have you here tonight. We're going to hear some of your music in just a little while, which is also really exciting. The piece we just heard, though, really quickly, Arturo, tell us about it. It's by Daphnis Prieto.
Daphnis Prieto, and it's called Triumphant Journey. It comes from our CD, Cuba. The Conversation Continues, which is an interesting CD because we were recording it when Presidents Castro and Obama announced the resumption or the normalization of Cuban-American relations, and we were there. And people, of course, were crazy about that moment, and except the Cubans didn't quite believe us. I don't know why.
Can I tell you a secret?
Look how it turned out. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's it. But can I tell you a secret?
Yeah.
I miss Obama.
Yeah, me too.
Just a little bit.
Me too.
Okay.
Coherent sentences.
You know, some things we take
Syntax.
for granted. Some things we take for granted.
A large vocabulary.
Speaking of vocabulary, there's a lot of musical vocabulary on the stage this night. Between the Afro-Latin jazz musicians that we have on stage, Quartet Indigo, Akua, Arturo. And the best part is that we have these musicians here to talk to us, and I'm going to do my best to help us guide our way through it. We're going really all over the world tonight musically. And as opposed to one of those trips where you're going to a place where you don't know anybody, you don't speak the language, and you're like, this TripAdvisor review, I don't know if I can trust that. You have a friend. They know what they're doing. They know where to eat. They know what to look out for. They speak the language, and they're here on stage to guide us through the night. So I'm going to be coming up periodically to talk about the pieces that we're going to play. What are we going to hear, that you're going to play? I'm not playing.
We're going to hear
What are we going to hear next?
We're going to hear a piece called 40 Acres and a Burro. And it's a piece that...
you wrote this piece?
I wrote this piece, and it's the piece that we ended our residency at Jazz at Lincoln Center when the Afro-Latin Jazz Orchestra was birthed there by the graciousness of Wynn Marsalis, and we served a 5-year residency. But at the end, it was time for us to leave. It was time for us to create our own reality, which we've done quite well, I think. And so in a way, this was kind of our parting shot at not just Lincoln Center, because they were very gracious to it, but also because there's a lot of kind of stereotypes in this piece. You're going to hear stereotypes of Latino as a section that's going to sound Mexican, a section that's Puerto Rican, a section called Latino white noise, and I'm not sure what that is. I don't know.
I'm not going to ask.
But eventually we get into the Mozambique, and that's when you realize that there's a lot more to us than just Oye, como va.
Awesome. And after that, we're going to hear a piece of Miss Dixon's called Determination. Can you tell us a tiny bit about the piece? Let me give you this microphone so we can all hear your beautiful voice.
There are many things that inspire you to write something. And I have to say that as a cellist trying to play jazz and as a woman trying to play jazz, I've had to have serious determination. And that piece is called, my piece is called Determination, and it comes from that.
Thank you. All right, let's hear it.
Okay, thank you.
So, we heard 40 acres and a burro. Does everyone know what Ya Justicia se acabó means? What everybody was chanting? You wrote it?
What's the chorus?
Ya injusticia se acabó.
La injusticia ya se acabó.
Ya se acabó.
The injustice now has ended.
Now has ended. Awesome. And we also just heard a blues in 5, rather unusual, from Miss Dixon. And I want to ask you more questions because you're a legend and I have to. Just all of you in general are such fantastic players. Not all string players improvise.
That's true.
Not all musicians who assemble in a context we know mostly from European classical music improvise or play in situations with this type of rhythm section. Can you talk a little bit about what it's like to play this music and what it means to you?
Well, first of all, the music is absolutely fantastic. And for me personally, I grew up playing in an orchestra, although I heard other music at home. My parents listened to the blues, they played their gospel music, so I listened to that kind of thing. And it amazed me as that there was no training for this style of music in the conservatory, okay? And when I got out of the conservatory, at that point, the New York Philharmonic and orchestras like that were all white male. So I never saw myself there. But I had a string quartet with my sister ever since I was a child, so I wasn't worried about it. My first professional job was at the Apollo Theater, okay? James Brown called the string quartet, and my father let my sister and I play, but he was sitting outside the stage door when we got off, And from there, I got called by more and more musicians who had rhythmic music like this that they wanted to play, but most traditional classical players weren't able to understand and feel the music. They can read it. There's a difference between reading it and feeling it. These ladies that I've worked with over the years have just been amazing. I've had the concept of having a string quartet that's an improvising quartet. The first one was formed in 1972. Okay, and I've had many reincarnations. And can I introduce these ladies?
Please, we should.
We have Ina Paris from Cuba on viola. Diane Perry, New Jersey.
Hey.
Holding up the fort. And Leonor Falcone from Venezuela.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I'll take it. Arturo, can you tell us about the pieces we're about to hear? Because they're both yours. So you have to take responsibility for this.
Oh, no, I'm not taking responsibility.
This is your doing.
I'm not taking responsibility at all. In fact, I abdicate. This next piece is called Little Tiny Men. And it's a piece that, I think the title is obvious what the piece is about. It's about little men who are easily threatened by strong, powerful women and who seem to take advantage of situations with women and think they can hide. And think they can hide and not get caught. But eventually all things come around. And people know that little tiny men, it's kind of a metaphor for fear. And people who are afraid.
And the piece after that, 3 Revolutions, is...
Yeah, that's okay, I'll tell you about that piece. I wrote... Okay. The inspiration for that piece came to me when I was in Havana the day that Fidel Castro died. And it was really strange. It was such a weird thing, because normally Havana's bustling with music and noise and people, and it was... That morning, it was still deadly quiet. And I went up to folks and I, respectfully said, I'm so sorry, how does this make you feel? And people would say, bueno, Arturito, es complicado.
That we don't have to translate.
We don't have to translate that. But, it occurred to me that whatever you think of the revolution, and there certainly is credible arguments against some revolutions and regimes, Fidel was a hero to many people throughout Africa and throughout South America. And it was the same week I could not help making this reference because it was the same week that I don't like to say his name. That he came into power here, and so it seemed to me like there was the death of a hero and the ascendancy of a non-person, and it was such a contrast to me that I thought, gee, we've really missed the boat in so many ways. And so I started thinking about the third revolution, the one that is to come, the one where human beings demand that everyone on the planet gets treated with love and respect and dignity, and everyone on the planet is given enough to eat, enough clothes to wear, and a chance at a dignified life. I'm waiting for that revolution. That's the one that I pray for.
Awesome. I just have one more question, because you don't always play with the string quartet either. And are these pieces written, did you have that in mind? Is this an arrangement?
String quartets are basically that's the first thing you learn as a musician. The first thing you learn is that string quartet is the source of all nutrition and the source code. The source code for all real musicians is to learn how to write string quartets. And it's funny because I remember getting into fights with my father. He would try to teach me how to write string quartets. I insisted that strings do things they ought not to. And I still follow that. And I guess you'll hear that.
Okay, I can't wait. Little Tiny Men and 3 Revolutions.
Madam President, Mr. Secretary General, world leaders, ambassadors, and distinguished delegates. 1 year ago, I stood before you for the first time in this grand hall. I addressed the threats facing our world, and I presented a vision to achieve a brighter future for all humanity. Today I stand before the United Nations General Assembly to share the extraordinary progress that we've made. In less than 2 years, my administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. So true. Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
Revolutions, and before that, Little Tiny Men. I'm gonna stand on this side of you, so just know that I'm here, still here. I'm still here. I didn't go anywhere. We're gonna bring out more musicians because we're gonna more musicians. Why not? We're gonna bring out as many musicians as we can possibly fit on this stage. Welcome additional members of the Afro-Latin Jazz Orchestra and Malika Zara, everybody. Malika, I have a few questions for you. Am I correct that you are I can barely see you, but I'm going to talk to you, a Moroccan in origin and Paris in location, I guess I should say, by way of Paris?
I grew up in France.
You grew up in France. Okay, perfect. And I know that you were recently playing, Arturo was recently in Abu Dhabi, and you all have performed together a bunch. And I want to know about the songs that we're about to hear. We only have 2 songs left on our program. They're both going to feature Malika. I know that's sad, but it's because we have a Q&A after the songs that we're about to hear. So get ready with your questions. There'll be a microphone circulating throughout the audience, so you'll be able to talk to anybody that you want to on stage. But Malika, I want to hear from you the songs that you have chosen to sing tonight and a little bit about them and why.
Yes. So I chose 2 songs, Lila, which means the night, and from a Yemenite composer. And the other one, it's called Ashdani. It's a traditional Moroccan song from Al-Arabi Kawakibi, Moroccan composer. And this is the song that we played at Abu Dhabi. And so the first one, Lila, says, if this was the last night of my life, I would love to spend it with you watching your beautiful dark eyes.
I like it.
So that's it.
It's very romantic, and I like it.
Yeah. In Arabic also, yeah, there's love songs. And
And the second song, is there a meaning behind it lyrically?
Ashdani means the song says like what's wrong with me? Why did I choose this path that hurt me? And why did I choose this person to help, to follow, to love?
Beautiful. Do you have anything? What drew you to Malika as a singer? Yeah, you.
What did you ask
I'm
me?
here.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm asking you questions. What drew you to collaborate with Malika?
You know, Malika's one of these rare human beings who is the song. She is the music. I mean, she sings and beautiful things come out, but she herself is a song. And she's one of those people who just moves in this incredible way that she's an artist. She's just a person who really personifies music in every way. And I just absolutely adore Malika.
Thank you, Arturo. It's very nice.
I have nothing to add to that. Enjoy and be thinking of your questions. We will be back with the Q&A section just after these 2 songs.
أنا صحي ونيم يلي أيامي بدونك عني العمر ما يعيني ليلة لو باقي ليلة في عمري وأنا بيليلة أسهر في ليل عيوني في ليلة سمايا في Now, if you want to dance, this is the time.
أشداني علاش مشيت غير بضرع من عيونو باش لاني راكواني أشداني بديت من بعيد مثل واش شغل بالي نزاوك فيك هتشوف تبرد جماري بديت من بعيد مثل واش شغل بالي نزاوك فيك هتشوف تبرد جماري دار عليا يا ليا وانا مالي اشتاني علاش مشيت اشتاني علاش مشيت غير ما نرى من عيونو باش بلاني راك واني اشتاني
right. Give it up for Malika Zara. Have you enjoyed the music tonight? Did you enjoy yourselves? Did I do okay as a host tonight? Good. Good. We have just a few minutes left, so we can take a few questions ever so briefly. They have to be really good questions. So I hope you thought hard. Oh, who could it be?
I thought so hard about this.
You're allowed to ask whatever you want.
Malika,
Yes.
you chose 2 love songs on the evening of Music of Resistance. Why?
Because love is always resistance.
Anyone else want to ask a question? I know you have one more in you, audience. Come on. Oh, perfect.
I just want to know how many more people tonight are going to sign up as a sustaining member, because this is magic. You cannot find this anywhere else in the city.
We did not pay her to say that. We did not pay her to say that. Yes, one more question here.
I don't know if it's a question, but I don't know how many people understand the connection between Morocco and southern Spain and the Latin music and the Caribbean and the African. It's very profound. And the stringed instruments play a big part in it. So that's not a question, but...
Yeah.
We went on a fact-finding mission to Kuwait and to Abu Dhabi, really to ascertain the point that is made in so many history books, that the roots of our music, the lute, the stringed instrument, the quarter tone, the blues note, the call and response, all of that comes from Africa and the Middle East and India. And so we didn't really invent jazz as much as we like to think we did. It's an inheritance of a cataclysm called the slave trade. And it's something that we need to really make global, because what jazz is, what this music is about overcoming oppression and hatred with the divine gift of forgiveness and love. And I think that's really what we learned if we follow our history trails, we'll find our way back home.
Well, let's take one more question from this gentleman right here.
I just wanted to ask Arturo O'Farrill, is the piano a melodic or an rhythmic instrument?
That's a really good question. I like to think of the piano as the center of the universe, but obviously it's not. And in point of fact, it was created, it's a percussion instrument, and a lot of people don't know that. The thing about the piano that is gorgeous is that it's a percussion instrument with a plethora of harmonic possibilities. And so it's an instrument that really has an incredible flexibility. And yes, I do love the piano.
One more? These gentlemen? Do you want to introduce yourselves?
My name is Ivan Renta. I play the saxophone. Rafi. My name is Rafi Malkiel.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for the beautiful music, Arturo. My name's James Hurt, and I've known you for some time, and I've also known this young lady, Malika, for some time. We performed together. But my question to both of you is, in the way that we as artists try to be global-minded, do you see yourself turning more inward towards your cultural memories and your heritage as an artist, as activism? Because I've myself tried to venture out. I'm just a plain old American from the Deep South, but with ethnic roots that are complicated. And as an artist, we were more denied, I think, in the modern West, our opportunities to be as globally expansive as you guys are. And I love you for that. So there you go.
That's an incredibly beautiful question. I don't know how to reconcile the two, but I think the way to find yourself on the continuum is to take an inward journey. We are connected. I don't care what anybody says. I've seen it time and time again. As I travel the world, I feel a kinship with people I've never met before, never seen before, and I feel almost a familial obligation to look inside myself and find those commonalities and those roots that we all share. So it's an inward journey and an expansive view. I don't know how to reconcile the two.
And I would say also that to be able to connect with other cultures or other part of the world, you need to know where you come from. And also, I lived in different countries, and more, it's like I feel that we got trapped with all these borders things, that it's completely inhuman, and that's great that we come from some part with cultural heritage, etc. But we are all one kind of human being.
Okay. Well, I can't thank you all enough for coming out tonight, for listening, for enjoying, for asking amazing questions. There is one final event in this residency. You should come back to the Green Space often and always. There's tons of fantastic programming here. I highly recommend coming back just any old time. They have wonderful stuff here almost every night of the week. But the last evening of your residency is April 24th. It's sad, but it's also going to be great because you're going to premiere a piece that you've been working on. So world premiere. Do you want to keep that a secret? Okay. We'll leave that there. So come back at the very least on April 24th and enjoy the rest of your night. Let's give it up one more time for these amazing musicians.
Beautiful.